Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Geoff Neal just took place in the main event of UFC Fight Night Vegas 17, Thompson versus Neal, and Wonderboy Thompson just moved like a wizard and schooled Geoff Neal over 5 rounds, 50-45 unanimous decision win. Very, very, very clear throughout the fight. I mean, Geoff Neal, in all honesty, came out with a bit of an incorrect game plan. I thought he was going to start chopping at the legs early. He did none of that whatsoever, and I think it's because Wonderboy was throwing so many kicks, it was hard to find the legs of Wonderboy, but Geoff Neal just was a sitting target for Wonderboy. I'll read you some of these stats that they have counted down, and I'll talk about those stats later on because I still don't think they're accurate. 25-7 in the first round for Wonderboy, 30-15 in the second round for Wonderboy. I want to mention this. The stats in the middle of the fight had Geoff Neal up on significant strikes in round 2. He got doubled. According to the recount, that's how weird it was. 33-15 in round 3 for Wonderboy. 34-15 in round 4. I mean, he's just opening up the gap every single round. I'm going to refresh and hope that round 5 has been counted. No, it hasn't. How interesting. That's okay. Round 5 was more of the same thing. But Wonderboy in that last round, I was terrified because he injured his leg in the 4th. And yet somehow on one leg, he still was able to tool Geoff Neal around for the 5th round. 50-45, unanimous decision. I don't think there's another fighter in the UFC that can win against top contenders so magically. I like his walkout song is so good. Like, Wonderboy, what is the secret of your power? I need to know what the secret of his power is. I'm serious here. There's something going on. He's on a different frequency, and I think this really justifies how good strikers like Darren Till were. I don't know how Woodley even hanged with Wonderboy on the feet whatsoever in their fights. That will forever be a mystery to me, but I guess Wonderboy, what you could say is just getting better and better with age. 37 years of age, going out there and doing that to a guy in his prime in Jeff Hands of Steel Neal. This fight was evens. I had it as a prediction for 4th round TKO Wonderboy. I thought Geoff Neal was going to get hit too much to the body early and become reckless in those later rounds and get TKO'd. But credit to Geoff Neal, he's got a chin on him. He kept taking hard shots on Wonderboy. We don't see this often for him. He was sitting down on his shots a lot of the time. Like, whenever Geoff Neal would shell up and just stand there, which was very weird strategy from Geoff Neal. I think he just knew that he couldn't win by the end of it, it looked like, to be honest with you. But Wonderboy would really sit down and plant those hooks around the guard of Geoff Neal. Every single time they touched gloves, my bum just clenched up because I'm so worried that one of these guys is not going to understand that Wonderboy's touching their gloves and thinks he's going to jab to the body, and then Geoff Neal cracks him over the top and doesn't even realise. I was so worried that was going to happen. But Wonderboy gets it done every single round, man. Just absolute domination. No one does that to top contenders back to back. Luque and Geoff Neal. I guess Luque looks really good now because the first round he had against Wonderboy, where he even may have won it in some people's eyes. Very close round. I had it to Wonderboy, but Luque landed some real good shots in the first round. Had Wonderboy rocked in a moment as well, but Wonderboy just started tooling him up in the second and third. But at 37 years of age, Wonderboy is just schooling top contenders. And I think next for him could be the Masvidal fight. I know a lot of people are saying stuff like, Masvidal wants to fight Covington, though. Masvidal, it feels like right now, doesn't want to fight Covington, okay? And we all kind of know why. Because Covington's a striker, and Covington's a grappler, and Masvidal's Masvidal. And I've seen the videos on YouTube of Covington ragdolling him like a bitch, okay? I've seen those, and I don't think it would be good for Masvidal. So as much as Wonderboy said on the post-fight speech, Masvidal wants to fight Covington, I could see Wonderboy versus Masvidal being made just because it's a better style matchup for Masvidal, and maybe he could do things better in the rematch, because in all honesty, his fight with Wonderboy was way, way, way closer than Geoff Neal's. Masvidal was actually landing good shots, and Geoff Neal just seemed to keep throwing hard, and then by the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, it seemed like he just wasn't going to KO Wonderboy. When Wonderboy was on one leg and still won a round, I was worried because he's on one leg, anything can happen. But Geoff Neal, just the power of his shots started to fade as the fight went on. I think all of the body shots from Wonderboy go a little bit unnoticed. I mean, he landed, what here? According to this, 122 significant strikes, rounds 1 through 4, and landed 27% of those to the body. I mean, it was a real good work. Neal just headhunted, man. Against Wonderboy, for the first 2 rounds, 80% of your shots should be leg kicks. We learned this from Anthony Pettis. If you can slow down Wonderboy, I mean, imagine if Wonderboy Thompson had that leg injury that he had in the 4th round, on top of Geoff Neal already chewing up that leg for 2 rounds, 3 rounds in the early parts. You can't headhunt against Wonderboy. That's what Geoff Neal tried to do, and I just think he was a little bit too nice as well in certain moments. Wonderboy falls on his back. I understand there's like a warrior code and like a martial arts respect kind of thing, but at the same time, you're fighting for your career. In this moment, in a main event, when Wonderboy falls down in the 3rd round off of a kick and is on his back, I kind of want a contender. Even though it looks mean, I want my contender to jump up and get on him and try and land some ground and pound. But Geoff Neal would just let him get back up. And it seemed like Geoff Neal, past the 3rd round, was just very okay with losing. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had a broken limb at some point in the fight on something, because he just... either Wonderboy is a magician and made Neal look foolish, or Neal just... I don't even know what to say. But it was that good of a performance by Wonderboy that I'm here sat questioning Neal's being injured, even though he didn't even look like he was injured. He just fought like an injured, wounded animal as Wonderboy just darted and zipped around on the outside of him. Very good performance from Wonderboy. Threw some wheel kicks. I like Wonderboy's new style that he seems to have employed against guys like Luke and Geoff Neal. Before we'd see him stalemate certain opponents, make it really boring. But this time, Luke and Geoff Neal... he just likes to volume it up a little bit. I'm very glad that Wonderboy fights in that way, because this very easily could have been like a 5-strike-to-1 for Wonderboy in the 1st round, 2 strikes to none in round 2, like a 3 strikes to 2 in round 4. Like, this could have been a razor close fight, and Wonderboy just getting all of the higher numbers in terms of the strikes, but he decided to make this more interesting, which I valued so much. The final card of the year. Great fight. I want to mention this. This entire card, the UFC has tried to rig fights for their up-and-comers. I swear to you. The significant strikes that they showed this card, and even the significant strikes scored by UFCstats.com, are completely incorrect. I don't know how they got these numbers. I don't know how, on the UFC stat page, Wonderboy was scored 30-15, and on the round scoring system, Geoff Neal had 27-25 in favor of Wonderboy. I think the UFC is rigging fights and using certain prompts on screen to sway the understanding of the audience. Luckily, Wonderboy was dominant enough, but none of those rounds were close. And the strikes tried to suggest it to us, but none of those rounds were close. In fact, I would not even say that Wonderboy outlanded Geoff Neal 2-1. I was under the impression that Wonderboy was outlanding Geoff Neal 4-1, 5-1 on strikes. It just seemed like Neal would miss his big shot, but before that big shot landed, Wonderboy would land like 3 or 4 jabs on his face, a front kick to the body, a right hand afterwards. Like, it just seemed like Wonderboy was so far ahead in the strikes, and for them to give Geoff Neal 27-25, I believe it was, in strikes on the 2nd round, they gave Geoff Neal 27 strikes. He only threw 25. He missed 40% of them. He only threw 25 strikes. They gave him 27 overall, I believe, on the overall strikes of the fight, if my memory serves me correct. That's just criminal, man. He was obviously missing shots throughout the fight. Wonderboy is moving around, making him miss, making him look foolish. And the strike numbers are ridiculous. Even watching the UFC stat page. I used to trust the UFC stat page as my Bible. 49-33 in round 5. I thought round 5 was the closest round of the fight by far, in my opinion. But I also thought round 5 was the least active round, maybe. Wonderboy landed a lot of shots. I feel like Wonderboy landed much more than 34, 33, 30, and 25. I almost felt like I was watching Wonderboy land like 3 strikes per 10 seconds in that fight. He was tooling up Geoff Neal, and these strike numbers really do piss me off. But Wonderboy gets it done, man. Really looking forward to see what's next for him. I don't think it's going to be Masvidal. I think the UFC will push for Masvidal versus Covington to headline the Ultimate Fighter, which is coming up soon, and have them fight in like May or April or something along those lines. There is no better way to bring back the Ultimate Fighter than Masvidal versus Covington, and I think the UFC understands that as well. However, what I would like to see is Wonderboy versus the winner of Khamzat Chimaev versus Leon Edwards. If it's Khamzat Chimaev especially, if it's Leon Edwards, there's an argument for a title shot because he did the UFC a favour in taking this Chimaev bout. But if it's Khamzat Chimaev, he hasn't earned a title shot yet because he's his resume would be Leon Edwards and then Reese McKee before that. So, you know, or Gerald Mearshart in another division as well. And all of those guys that Khamzat has beaten have gone on to lose all of their fights. So, I do believe that Wonderboy is going to fight one more time, then get his hands on the belt. And I'll tell you this, I don't like his chances against Usman, but he is trouble for every single person in the division, and he showed good takedown defense tonight as well. Great strength against the cage. There was a head clash because of a headbutt. Well, obviously. There was an opening of cuts on the eyes because of the headbutt that happened in the second round, I believe it was, maybe the first. I want to mention this as well. Other than a new striking counter guy that we desperately need because he's wrong every card, I want to mention that we need to change the rule. If there is a head clash and it's unintentional and there are cuts opened up above the eyes, the referee gives both the fighters like a minute to recover. Like there's recovery time if there's a cut over the eye that's unintentional because of a head clash. What I think should happen, until I saw that Geoff Neal also had a cut on his eye, if Geoff Neal didn't cut his own eye, and even if they both cut their eye, I think there should be a doctor come in. It wasn't intentional, it was a head clash, and clean up those cuts for the fighters. Because what if Geoff Neal didn't have a cut opened up and just opened up a cut on Wonderboy's eye because they head clashed and Neal was coming forward as well, but it was unintentional? I think it's so unintentional and nothing to do with Wonderboy that a doctor should come in and clean up that cut just naturally, because to give the guy an advantage. There was no reason for him to have a cut over his head, and he had one due to an illegal blow technically. I think the referee or the doctor should come in, the cut man, clean up the cut for the fighter. I don't think they should be left for it to bleed all down their face when they haven't done anything wrong or don't deserve for there to be a cut on their face. I think that should be a change that they should make in the UFC, but Wonderboy just completely schooled him. Every single round, 50-45. He's a problem, man. I don't know how he's going to do against the top guys. He is kind of on borrowed time right now because, I mean, he's, 37 years of age, born in February, so he won't be in the cage again until he's 38. We're trying to test the clock here a little bit with Wonderboy's career. Hopefully he continues to go strong. I love Wonderboy Thompson. I kind of sneakily wanted Neal to win just because the future of the division would be better with fresher names. But Wonderboy is also a good name to have. And I'll tell you this in the rankings. Big changes are going to be made today in the rankings. Wonderboy is going to jump Masvidal. And if Wonderboy doesn't jump Masvidal in the rankings, there's hokum afoot. I'll tell you that much. Wonderboy's number 5. He beat Masvidal, who's number 4. He already should be above him. I think Wonderboy might leapfrog Leon Edwards, because I'll tell you this about Leon Edwards. RDA is at 155 now, so that win don't mean shit. Ages ago. And Gunnar Nelson ain't even fighting no more, and he's unranked. Those are the 2 best wins of Edwards' career, and Wonderboy beat Luke K as well. Arguably better than Edwards did. So, I think Wonderboy could be looking at the number 3 slot, maybe even above Gilbert Burns, but Burns beat Woodley and dominated him, so I understand Burns being above Wonderboy Thompson, but I think Wonderboy deserves the number 3 spot. I could argue him above Leon Edwards just because of Edwards' inactivity. I know he beat RDA, but it's not like RDA beat Wonderboy or something like that, so I think Wonderboy should be at number 3. He should look for maybe the loser of Usman versus Burns. That would be a good matchup to make. Obviously in the middle of the year at some point, whenever they figure out Usman versus Burns. Or get that Masvidal fight if he beats Colby Covington, which I don't see happening. But we'll see, I guess. I think the best bet is Leon Edwards versus Chimaev winner. Maybe even if it's Leon Edwards. I know he said that Dana White's promised him a title shot. Dana White says a lot of stuff, but that's my opinion on the fight. I think Wonderboy's going to jump up those rankings. Thank you for watching the video. Scored him over 5 rounds. He made Geoff Neal look like he didn't know what he was doing. And it kind of gives me more respect for Luke K, but that's bad. That was really good from Wonderboy. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Good. Bye. See you later.